Wikipedia wik-ih-PEE-dee-ə or wik-ih is a multilingual free online encyclopedia written and maintained by a community of volunteers through open collaboration in a wiki-based editing system. Its editors are known as Wikipedians. Wikipedia is the largest and most read reference work in history. It is consistently one of the 10 most popular websites ranked by SimilarWeb and formerly Alexa. As of 2022, Wikipedia was ranked the 7th most popular site in the world. It is hosted by the Wikimedia Foundation, an American non-profit organization funded mainly through donations. On January 15, 2001, Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger launched Wikipedia. Sanger coined its name as a blend of wiki and encyclopedia. Wales was influenced by the spontaneous order ideas associated with Friedrich Hayek and the Austrian School of Economics after being exposed to these ideas by Austrian economist and Mises Institute senior fellow Mark Thornton. Initially available only in English, versions in other languages were quickly developed. Its combined editions comprise more than 59 million articles, attracting around 2 billion unique device visits per month and more than 17 million edits per month as of November 2020. In 2006, Time magazine stated that the policy of allowing anyone to edit had made Wikipedia the biggest encyclopedia in the world. Wikipedia has received praise for its enablement of the democratization of knowledge, extent of coverage, unique structure, culture, and reduced degree of commercial bias, but criticism for exhibiting systemic bias, particularly gender bias against women and alleged ideological bias. The reliability of Wikipedia was frequently criticized in the 2000s, but has improved over time, as Wikipedia has been generally praised in the late 2010s and early 2020s. The website's coverage of controversial topics such as American politics and major events like the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine has received substantial media attention. It has been censored by world governments, ranging from specific pages to the entire site. In April 2018, Facebook and YouTube announced that they would help users detect fake news by suggesting fact-checking links to related Wikipedia articles. Articles on breaking news are often accessed as a source of frequently updated information about those events. Early life. Brown is the son of retired Arena Football League star touchdown Eddie Brown, who was named the best player in the league's history in 2006, and Adrienne Moss. Eddie Brown played wide receiver for the Albany Firebirds and collegiate football for Louisiana Tech. High school career. Miami Norland High School. Brown attended Miami Norland High School in Miami, Florida, where he played football. In football, Brown played running back, quarterback, wide receiver, and punt returner for the Vikings. He was a two-time Class 6A All-State selection and was also named North Athlete of the Year at 2005 Miami-Dade Gridiron Classic. North Carolina Tech Prep. Coming out of high school, Brown applied to Florida State University. His admission was denied over academic concerns. After attempting to attend Alcorn State, he decided to enroll at North Carolina Tech Prep. Playing in just 5 games at quarterback, Brown passed for 1,247 yards and 11 touchdowns, while rushing for 451 yards and 13 touchdowns. Once he finished his lone season at North Carolina Tech Prep, he received a scholarship to play at Florida International University, but he was expelled before the season for an altercation with security. Brown then began reaching out to wide receivers coach Butch Jones at West Virginia, since he had been highly recruited by him. After learning that Jones had left West Virginia to become the head coach at Central Michigan, Brown enrolled at the school and started his college football career as a walk-on freshman. College career. Brown attended and played college football for Central Michigan from 2007 to 2009. Freshman season. Brown began attending Central Michigan in 2007 after wide receivers coach Zach Azani told him he could fly to Michigan and try out for the team as a walk-on wide receiver. Transitioning from the quarterback position in high school to wide receiver in college was not that difficult for him, and after a few weeks, Central Michigan coaches offered him a scholarship. Brown had difficulty adjusting to the college lifestyle, and being on time for meetings and practice. Azani and his wife helped him get situated and into an established routine, and he soon became like a part of their family. He made his collegiate debut against Kansas on September 1. He had 4 receptions for 23 receiving yards in the 52-7 loss. In the next week's game against Toledo, he had 9 receptions for 105 receiving yards and his first collegiate touchdown, a 6-yard pass from Dan Elifevauer, in the 52-31 victory. On October 6, against Ball State, he had 6 receptions for 43 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown to go along with a 9-yard rushing touchdown in the 58-38 victory. On November 23, against Akron, he had 15 receptions for 174 yards in the 35-32 victory. The Chippewas finished with an 8-5 record, won the MAC, and qualified for a bowl game. In the 2007 Motor City Bowl against Purdue, he had 4 receptions for 94 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown in the 51-48 loss. During his first season at Central Michigan, Brown played in 14 games. He played well enough to win the Mid-American Conference Freshman of the Year and was All-Conference as a returner. For his freshman season, he had 102 receptions for 1,003 yards and 6 touchdowns. His 102 receptions led the Mid-American Conference in 2007. Sophomore season. Brown started every game during his sophomore season in 2008. In the third game of the season, against Ohio, he had 10 receptions for 78 receiving yards to go along with a 75-yard punt return for a touchdown in the 31-28 victory. On October 11, against Temple, he had 3 receptions for 33 yards and a season-high 2 touchdown receptions. The next week, against Western Michigan, he had 10 receptions for 113 yards and threw a 2-yard touchdown pass in the third quarter of the 38-28 victory. On November 1, against Indiana, he had 7 receptions for 138 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns in the 37-34 victory. On November 28, while playing at Eastern Michigan, he had 7 receptions for a season-high 172 yards and a touchdown. The Chippewas finished with an 8-4 record and qualified for the 2008 Motor City Bowl. In the bowl game against FA, he had 11 receptions for 92 receiving yards in the 24-21 loss. For the season, Brown hauled in 93 receptions for 998 yards and 7 touchdowns. His 410 punt return yards and 791 kick return yards that season led the conference. Junior season. After a slow start to the season in a 19-6 loss against Arizona, Brown had 10 receptions for 71 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown against Michigan State. In addition, he completed a 24-yard pass and recorded 150 net kickoff return yards in the 29-27 victory over the Spartans. In the season's third game against Alcorn State, he had a 55-yard punt return for a touchdown in the first quarter of the 48-0 victory. Against Akron on September 26, 2009, Brown had 9 receptions for 89 receiving yards and a season-high 2 receiving touchdowns in the 48-21 victory. On October 3, against Buffalo, he had 6 receptions for 112 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown in the 2013 victory. In the next game, against Eastern Michigan, he had 4 receptions for 110 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown in the 56-8 victory. Over the next 2 games, both victories over Western Michigan and Bowling Green, he recorded his 4th and 5th consecutive game with a receiving touchdown. On November 11, he had 13 receptions for 129 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown in the 56-28 victory over Toledo. In the following game against Ball State, he had 11 receptions for 170 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown in the 35-3 victory. In the MAC championship against Ohio, he had 8 receptions for 66 receiving yards in the 2010 victory. In his last collegiate game on January 6, 2010, against Troy in the GMAC Bowl, Brown had a season-high 13 receptions for 178 yards in the 44-41 victory. He finished 2009 with single-season bests of 110 receptions, 1,198 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. Brown contributed to a historic season for Central Michigan. The team set a school record for wins with 12. For his career at Central Michigan, he had a school record 305 receptions, 3,199 receiving yards, and 22 touchdowns. On January 7, 2010, he announced he would forego his senior season and enter the 2010 NFL Draft. Statistics. Professional career. After Brown entered the 2010 NFL Draft, the majority of analysts and scouts projected him to be a 5th or 6th round draft selection. He was ranked as the 37th best wide receiver by NFLDraftScout.com and was invited to the NFL Combine, where he completed the entire workout and all the positional drills. Brown participated at Central Michigan's Pro Day and decided to try to improve on his 10, 20, and 40-yard dash times after being unsatisfied with the numbers he clocked at the Combine. He was able to improve his time in all 3 categories. Using a pick received in a trade with the Arizona Cardinals, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected him in the 6th round with the 195th overall pick in the 2010 NFL Draft. He was the 22nd of 27 wide receivers selected in the draft, and the second by the Pittsburgh Steelers behind Emmanuel Sanders. He picked the jersey number 84, which he explained, 8 times 4 is 32. 32 teams looked past me, even the Steelers. So every time I go out there it's a little added motivation. Pittsburgh Steelers. 2010 season. 2011 season. 2012 season. 2013 season. 2014 season. 2015 season. 2016 season. 2017 season. 2018 season. Oakland Raiders. On March 9, 2019, the Steelers agreed to trade Brown to the Oakland Raiders in exchange for a 3rd and a 5th round selections in the 2019 NFL Draft. The deal became official on March 13, 2019. Prior to the trade to Oakland, reports surfaced that the Steelers were close to a deal with the Buffalo Bills, but that the deal was cancelled after Brown protested on social media. In Brown's introductory press conference with the Raiders, he said, "I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here to just be a surge of energy, of positivity, and good force. A great teammate and to bring out the best of everyone around me, 'cause we all know it's not just about me." On August 3, Brown posted a picture of his heavily blistered feet on Instagram, which was later revealed to be frostbites to his feet due to not wearing proper footwear during a cryotherapy session. Brown's injury forced him to miss 10 out of 11 training camp practices with the Raiders. On August 9, he filed a grievance to continue wearing his old helmet even though it was banned, threatening to retire from football if he was forced to wear a new helmet. Despite Brown's pleas to continue wearing his old helmet, an arbitrator denied his request. Brown eventually found a replacement for his old helmet, but it also did not meet the NFL's standards. Afterwards, he continued to not practice with the Raiders. Brown filed a second grievance regarding his helmet on August 19, which he also lost. On September 4, Brown chose to wear the Zenith Shadow helmet for the 2019 season. On September 4, Brown was fined a combined $54,000 by General Manager Mike Mayock due to unexcused absences and missing 2 team practice sessions. Brown posted the letter of his fines on Instagram, a move that was scrutinized around the league. The following day, Brown confronted Mayock and had a verbal altercation, with reports stating that Brown called Mayock a cracker, which Brown later denied. It was also reported that Brown threatened to hit Mayock, and had to be held back by several teammates, including linebacker Vontaze Burfict. Afterwards, he punted a football and said to Mayock, "Fine me for that." On September 6, Brown showed up at a Raiders team meeting and made an emotional apology for his actions. When head coach John Gruden was asked if Brown would play in Week 1 against the Denver Broncos, he replied, "That's the plan. Yes." Later that day, Brown read a 20-second statement that read, "I'm excited to be out here today. I apologized to my teammates and the organization. Enough talk, man. I'm excited to be out here with my teammates. I'm grateful for all the fans. I'm excited to be a part of the Raiders and see you guys soon." However, less than a day later on September 7, Brown demanded his release from the Raiders after they voided the guaranteed money in his contract. Brown was released by the Raiders later that day, just hours before his 2019 salary would have become guaranteed. Prior to his release, the Raiders fined Brown $215,000 due to his altercation with Mayock. New England Patriots. On September 7, 2019, the same day he was released by the Raiders, Brown agreed to a 1-year contract with the New England Patriots worth up to $15 million, with a $9 million signing bonus. Additionally, on September 9, the Patriots added a second-year option in Brown's contract in which he would receive $20 million if picked up. Despite allegations of sexual and personal misconduct levied against him, Brown practiced with the Patriots in preparation for his season debut in Week 2 against the Miami Dolphins. He officially made his Patriots debut in Week 2, catching 4 passes for 56 yards and a touchdown along with a 5-yard rush in a 43-0 road victory. On September 20, following further allegations, in addition to allegedly intimidating text messages sent to one of his accusers after going to New England, Brown was cut by the Patriots. 2020 off-season. Brown posted on Twitter that he was retiring from the NFL on September 22, 2019, but changed his mind 4 days later. On July 20, 2020, he implied he was retiring again, but again expressed interest in playing a few days later. On July 31, 2020, Brown was suspended for the first 8 weeks of the 2020 NFL season for multiple violations of the league's personal conduct policy. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2020 season. 2021 season. NFL career statistics. Regular season. Postseason. Other ventures. Television appearances. On March 8, 2016, Brown was announced as one of the celebrities who competed on season 22 of Dancing with the Stars. He was paired with professional dancer Sharna Burgess. Brown and Burgess were eliminated during the semifinals of the show and finished the competition in 4th place overall. On January 2, 2019, Brown took part on the first season of The Masked Singer as Hippo, where he sang My Prerogative by Bobby Brown. He was eliminated in the first episode. Music. In 2018, he appeared in recording artist Drake's music video for God's Plan. In January 2020, Brown began releasing music under his initials wik-ih-PEE-dee-ə. His debut single was Whole Lotta Money. Later, in January 2022, Brown released Pit Not the Palace hours after he ran off the field during a Buccaneers-Jets game. Business. Since February 2022, Brown has been the president of Kanye West's sports fashion line, which is part of West's creative content company Donda Sports. Personal life. Brown is the father of 4 sons and 2 daughters. He has 3 sons and a daughter with Chelsea Kiris, and 2 other children by 2 other women. In September 2019, Brown re-enrolled for online classes at his alma mater, Central Michigan University. Brown is the cousin of Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Brown, who was drafted in 2019, as well as former wide receiver Kenbrell Tompkins.